Good evening and welcome to episode 5 of Carter's Shed. In this episode I'm going to extend our deck because I don't like weeding. We have an existing deck that measures 3.6 metres by 2.7 metres. We also have a patio that is being overrun by weeds. I don't like weeding and I've already done the whole area a couple of times since moving in. However, I don't like weeding. I could have taken the easy way out, lift the patio, then laid down a weed-proof barrier and relay the slabs. But the dining room opens onto the patio and it's a decent step down from the door. So it would be nice to get rid of that. So there's another reason to extend the deck. The front of the deck also has a drop down onto some stone chips, which are in between the deck and the grass. We have a small human that will be running around soon enough, and I don't think baby Carter Shed would play nice with the drop at the front of the deck. So how about getting rid of the drop and having the deck finished level with the grass? So the plan is to extend the deck to the side and to the front. This completed deck will measure 6.7 metres by 4.3 metres. So far you've seen me prepare the area to the side of the deck that used to be the patio. After lifting all the slabs, I removed all the weeds, levelled off the area with a rake, then applied a good covering of weed killer over the area. The weed barrier then got laid down and some aggregate holds it in place. The rest of the aggregate then gets wheeled in and levelled off. The next job was to attach a ledger board to the house.
I'll take you to the hardware shop. One look at the screw I got. Go do, baby, don't you stop. Keep going through the hood that knot. Make sure that the wood don't rot. Go back to the hardware shop. Buttons of cement to rot. Keep going till you've done the lot.
Okay, so yes, thanks for that. I used the Fisher through bolts and the washers to attach a ledger board to the house. This will let me secure the deck to the house to ensure the deck structure remains securely in place. I used the washers to keep the wooden ledger stepped off the wall. This will create an air gap between the ledger and the house. The ledger is stepped out enough past the render that any water running down would drip onto the ground and not onto the ledger board. I've now started framing out the deck. The first joist got notched out so it fit in above the step. This joist will run parallel and get attached to the side of the joist of the existing deck. I use an end cut preserver to seal any fresh cut that I made. This stuff is nasty and classified as a carcinogenic, so make sure you use the correct PPE.
I'll take you to the hardware shop. One look at the screw I got. Go do, baby, don't you stop. Keep going through the hood that knot. Make sure that the wood don't rot. Go back to the hardware shop. Buttons of cement to rot. Keep going till you've done the lot.
Thanks again, Nae Cents. So that 150mm screw along with the square made the outer frame assembly nice and easy. Once I had the first two frames assembled, I moved them into place. I then got all my joists measured and cut, then got the joist hangers attached to them. The joists are fixed to the frame at 400mm spacings. The level and the square make sure they're all going in nice and plumb. Another one of the 150mm screws and the hanger makes a nice solid joint.
I'll take you to the hardware shop. One look at the screw I got. Go down, baby, don't you stop. Keep going through to hit that knot. Make sure that the wood don't rot. Go back to the hardware shop. Buy tins of cement to rot. Keep going till you've done the lot.
So while I'm fixing these joists in, let me tell you about them. I'm sure you will have noticed that I have two different sizes of joists. I can get away with a smaller joist on the front frame because the span is a lot less than it is in the larger frame. To work out what size joists I would need, I used this simple formula. Span divided by 20 plus 20 equals the height of the joist required. Next we are on to the noggins. I could have got away with 2 noggins between each joist, but I went for a 2 then 3 pattern as I had plenty of wood and it would only make the deck stronger. I will quickly tell you about the wood I'm using, then I will shut up for a bit and you can see me going through the whole process to make the second front frame. The wood is all treated and classed as UC4. This is treated to last 15 years when in ground contact. However, none of the timber will be touching the ground and they will all have a good air gap between them and the ground, so there should be no issue with this lasting the test of time. Now, as I said before, none of the timbers will be in contact with the ground. That's because I'm using these deck riser pedestals rather than traditional posts and cement. The pedestals get spaced out as per the manufacturer's guidance. Then the whole deck could get levelled off by adjusting the height of each riser. I found this system really easy to use and I would definitely recommend it. I hunted high and low, but I could not find decking boards that would match the existing ones, so unfortunately they had to get ripped up. As you can see, the old frame had joists spaced out a good bit over the 400mm that I was going with, and there was also no noggins. So I added some in, and then finally the deck boards could start going down. These deck boards are 27mm by 144mm and they're 5.4 meters long. I've got 38 of them to go in. Oh no, not you again.
I'll take you to the hardware shop. One look at the screw I got. Go down, baby, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit that knot. Make sure that the wood don't rot. Go back to the hardware shop. Buttons of cement you rot. Keep going till you've done the lot.
This is how I've decided to transition between the deck and the grass. So the frame's there, so you want to have airflow underneath it. So we've got this trench here, there's a space underneath it. That'll come in there, like so. These will come through from there, and from then the final deck board will sit flush. So you've got a very clean transition to the grass, but then you've still got the airflow going underneath. You can see that bit there is already mounted on.
I'll take you to the hardware shop. One look at the screw I got. Go down, baby, don't you stop. Keep going till you hit that knot. Make sure that the wood don't rot. Go back to the hardware shop. Buttons of cement you rot. Keep going till you've done the lot.
So this is my last job on the deck for now. I'm just making a simple step to finish this corner off. I've still got some other things to do to the deck, but they'll wait for the better weather. I've got lights to fit, there's a shade sail to go in, and the whole thing will need painted as well. But for now, thanks for watching and good evening.
Subscribe and give us a huge thumbs up. So in the next episode 6, what is it? What's happening in episode 6?
We're not even on 6 yet, we're on 5.
Yeah, but